For Lesson 9, our essential question is, what influential Georgian rose to the political ranks of the state and ultimately the nation to lead our country, and what was his impact on the state and the nation? So obviously during this lesson, we're talking about the role of Jimmy Carter, and as you can see down here, we're still on Standard 12, explaining the importance of significant social, economic, and political developments in Georgia since 1970. And for element B, we're going to look at the impact that Jimmy Carter made on the state and the nation as a senator, governor, president, and past president. And the purpose for this lesson is to highlight his successes and disappointments during and after his political career. And the way that you're going to demonstrate this is through the note-taking activity. And to discuss the extent of his success after his presidency, you are going to have an opportunity to share your opinion with supporting evidence by writing a short paragraph. So in order to get the job done, you are going to get some paper and draw a graphic organizer and begin to fill it in while you watch this lesson. When the lesson is over, there are two websites that I want you to visit. The first is the New Georgia Encyclopedia, because you're going to need to do some additional research to complete the graphic organizer, and just do a search for Jimmy Carter in the New Georgia Encyclopedia. And then I want you to go to the Georgia Stories website and watch the Habitat for Humanity video. You can always do a general search on the web to get a variety of sources to help you as you develop your opinion of Jimmy Carter's success or failures in his political career. And finally, you should always ask questions. While you watch this lesson, I want you to write down any questions that you have and then ask me. So here's a sample of what the graphic organizer can look like. And in these 4 boxes, for example, event 1, I would put his years as a state senator, governor, president, and after his presidency. In the center, you're going to put the name of the graphic organizer, and you can always just use the name that's up here. So I started to put one together just so you can get an idea of what it could look like. And you'll see where I have state senator and the years that he was state senator. When did he start? When did that part of his political career end? And then underneath, you can put your notes or highlights or his accomplishments. And I did the same for each part of his political career. In the years after his presidency, it looks a little bit different because I want to list the major events and I want to have notes about each event, but I want to look at how he impacted the rest of the world in the years after his presidency. So who is Jimmy Carter? Jimmy Carter was a state senator, a governor, and the only person from Georgia to be elected president. He's also the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, and he is the second person from Georgia to win that award. He was a successful and popular governor, and his post-presidential career has been arguably one of the most accomplished of any former president. Carter was born in Plains, Georgia, to farmers and community leaders. He attended public school in Plains and went on to Georgia Tech. And while he was at Georgia Tech, he was appointed to the Naval Academy and graduated in 1946. He received a commission, and it appeared that he would have a successful Navy career. However, when his father died, he returned to Georgia, left the Navy, and took over the family farm and the family business. After becoming a community leader in Plains, Carter became interested in running for office, and in 1962 he was elected to the state senate. While he was a state senator, he devoted a lot of his time to educational affairs, and he promoted the equal educational opportunity through reorganization and consolidation. So he was a supporter of integration during the 1960s in Georgia. And as we have learned, that this was not necessarily the most popular idea in our state government during the 1960s. But as state senator, he was the chair of the Senate Education Committee where he continued to support these reforms. In 1966, he ran for governor. He finished third place behind Lester Maddox and Ellis Arnold in the Democratic primary. But then in 1970, he tried again and ran for governor, and this time he was elected. As governor, Carter is most well known for his reorganization of the state government and his consolidation of state agencies. In addition, he focused on improving Georgia's educational, justice, and mental health systems. Carter also appointed more women and minorities to governmental positions than all of the governors, all of Georgia's previous governors combined. After his 4-year term was complete, Carter set his sights on a presidential run. And due to his primary successes, Carter received the Democratic nomination for president, and he narrowly defeated President Ford in the 1976 election. The recent Watergate scandal under President Nixon and the nation's poor economy were the major factors that contributed to Carter's election. Carter's successes and failures are very well documented. His achievements include the Camp David peace accords between Egypt and Israel and the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, or SALT II, with the Soviet Union. So there's a few more things that I want to know about these two things. What were the peace accords? Did they work? And when did this happen? And then what is SALT II? If it's the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, I know that arms are weapons, and a treaty makes me think of some type of peace agreement. So was this a peace agreement, and how long was this in effect? As far as his disappointments, they include his decision to boycott the 1980 Olympics based on the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, his management of the Iranian hostage crisis, and the overall perception that he did not do enough to remedy the stagflation that was crippling the U.S. economy. So I have more questions that I need answered to help me understand. What is the correlation between the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and the U.S. boycott of the Olympics? Why is this considered a failed part of his presidency? And then, how did he manage the Iranian hostage crisis? One of the disappointments was people felt like he didn't handle it in the right way. So how did he handle it, and why is it considered a failure? And then finally, stagflation. What is that? Well, stagflation is when inflation is high, but economic growth is slowing down and unemployment is high. Part of the reasons this is considered a disappointment is because people think he didn't do enough to fix the problem, but what did he do about it? And this cartoon down here, this political cartoon, really kind of sums up stagflation if you are having a little bit of difficulty understanding that. After losing the 1980 presidential election, Carter returned home to Georgia, where he founded the Carter Center. And the Carter Center has monitored elections, resolved conflicts, and treated diseases worldwide. Domestically, Carter has supported the Habitat for Humanity program. Carter has also written several books and was inducted into the Georgia Writers Hall of Fame in 2006. To get the rest of the information to complete your graphic organizer, again, you're going to continue to do some research. I want you to visit the New Georgia Encyclopedia and search for Jimmy Carter. And I also want you to watch the Habitat for Humanity Georgia Stories video. You can do internet research and then definitely ask me if you have any questions. And good luck completing your paragraph.